this victory plan. It has 4 components, and one of the components which is important is to not the possibility, but actually the right of Ukraine to be independent and choose whatever alliances it wants to be part of, and basically to decide. So any peace talks should be possible with the participation of Ukraine, not without it.
Now let's look at international politics and Ukraine. President Zelensky has spent the week meeting with European leaders in an attempt to gain their support for his victory plan to end the war. He, of course, visited Downing Street.
Very good to welcome you again back here. Very important we're able to show our continued commitment and support for Ukraine in this such important fight for you and for all of us as well. So very good to welcome you back to go through plans to talk in more detail about the work we can do together.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister.
Now, this victory plan, which he took to London, Paris, Berlin and Rome, includes requests from their allies such as NATO membership for Ukraine, permission to use Western missiles and greater quantities of weapons. This mini tour comes after the Ukraine Defence Contact Group scheduled for this weekend was cancelled when Joe Biden had to cancel his travel plans due to that big Hurricane Milton hitting Florida. Now, it was a setback, as it's clear that Zelensky really does want to push for the end of this war, stating yesterday that he hopes this war can end by 2025. Well, let's now speak with Kateryna Malofieiva, who is joining us from Kyiv. She's a journalist and the producer of the BAFTA-nominated documentary called Stealing Ukraine's Children. Kateryna, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening. As of recently, the Emmy Award winner, because our documentary Inside Wagner got an Emmy in New York 2 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness! Many congratulations. That's fantastic news for you. Thank you for letting us know that, and we'll make sure we catch up on that. So look, how do you think this tour of Europe has gone for President Zelensky, meeting these European leaders? What do you think he managed to achieve?
Well, the most important is to keep Ukraine in the loop for the European leaders. Since for the past months, there was less attention to Ukraine because of the situation in the Middle East. However, President Zelensky, he met with the leaders and he kept pushing on using the long-range missiles in the war. So he also kind of introduced his victory plan, the victory plan that he already presented to the American leader Joe Biden, and as well as the candidates for future presidency, to Kamala Harris and to Donald Trump. So far, we know sort of like more obscure details about this victory plan. We know only like 4 components that it consists of, but the general, the more like broader plan will be presented in November. We anticipate that it will happen after the election, U.S. election, I emphasize here. And during this meeting in Paris, during one of this meeting, during this whistle stop tour, he responded to the media questions, and he said that he hopes, the Ukrainian President Zelensky hopes to hold another peace conference in November this year. So I think that in a way it was pretty successful trip, given the intensification of fighting in the Middle East, as well as like decreased attention to Ukraine situation.
Well, thank you for that update and explaining a bit about what you know about this victory plan. I mean, he says that he really hopes that the war can be finished by 2025. Do you think that is realistic?
Of course, it all depends on the allies. As you know, when he met with Keir Starmer, as well as with Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, and asked about this possibility of using long-range weapon, the response of Rutte was that it depends on the allies. Yeah, not everyone has joint agreement on that. Of course, we all hope about the end of this war, because everyone is tired in Ukraine. We have like some sort of a split in the society, people who are fighting on the front line and people in civilians who are tired as well of all the situation. So you mentioned, you just said about this victory plan. It has 4 components, and one of the components which is important is to not the possibility, but actually the right of Ukraine to be independent and choose whatever alliances it wants to be part of, and basically to decide. So any peace talks should be possible with the participation of Ukraine, not without it.
Yeah, which is very, very, very important, because there are other people. For example, we've heard this from President Trump, and there are other people who've made this argument saying, we just need to get a deal sorted out, but it's almost like it has to be a deal that just Ukraine accepts and we will decide what the deal is. But presumably you're saying that's absolutely, understandably, not what Ukraine wants.
Yeah, of course, it's not acceptable, because Ukraine is an independent country, and like one of these components of this victory plan is to have a political pressure on Russia, and that's why Ukraine is now looking more at the global South, which was hesitating in accepting or like supporting Ukraine. Maybe it seems like that Ukraine in a very difficult situation, but we also have quite good news. As of Thursday, for example, the World Bank is creating the fund that will distribute $50 billion money coming from the US, Canada, and I think Japan. These are the frozen. This is the interest from the frozen Russian assets. And it's $50 billion, which is quite a significant amount of money. The loan quite significant. So it's not that Ukraine is like in a very difficult situation. Of course, the winter is coming and problems are increasing, but it's not like a deadlock situation.
Well, look, Kateryna, it's been really good to catch up with you. Thank you very much for your time, and very huge congratulations on winning that Emmy. That's an incredible achievement. That is the documentary maker and journalist Kateryna Malofieiva talking to us there.